All right, and we are live. Hello, Knockout Nation. You're watching the Knockout TV show. And I'm your host with the most, Noel Clubb. And welcome to Spanglish Sports World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app from respective iOS and Android app stores, as the app is absolutely free. And while you download, please make sure to rate and leave us a comment, because we always want to hear from you. We want to hear from every single one of you folks out there. That's right, we sure do. And Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire TV sticks. Roku and Roku sticks are also available on all smart TVs from 2016 forward. Well, folks, thanks again for watching the Knockout TV show around the world. Thank you for joining us. And let's introduce today's super duper awesome knockout panel, shall we? So, first off, is a Canadian middleweight professional boxer with a fight record of 17-1, 11 KOs. Coming to you live from beautiful Montreal, Quebec. Please welcome the one and the very only, the very awesome Patrice Vicious Volny to the show. Welcome, Patrice.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, man. Great to see you.
It's been a long time. I'm happy to be back in the show.
Right on, sir. Great to see you back. So, Sheriff, any kind of upcoming fight news we should share here on the show?
Hopefully, we just fought like a month ago. We have the win in the third round by knockout. So hopefully, we get back in the ring in the end of September. That'd be great. That'd be great.
Oh, very good. That's in September. Very good. Very good.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, crossing our fingers. Yeah, hopefully.
Exactly.
So, is there a prospect opponents? A couple guys looking at right now pretty closely.
I know we want to get back in the ranking as soon as possible. So whoever is in front, that's for sure we're going there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So no specific name. We just need to fight and go back in the top 10 and at this time pick more different people to make sure we get to that big fight.
Would be a more of a bigger step up. This next guy, this is ideally, give you an idea.
Yeah, absolutely. We want a big step up, put a few belt or
on the line.
A few bet on the line to get in almost all divisions, because I was in ranking in the 3 divisions. So hopefully we could get back there and have a shot for a world title.
That'd be good, incredible. That'd
be amazing.
It would be. Well, I mean, you are a world-class fighter. I find you very underrated, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. But you're underrated for your abilities, where you're at. So you get on a big world stage next. You definitely deserve it, my friend. You really do.
Thank you.
Part of the Canadian boxing royalty in my eyes. So right on. I always support you, my friend. Always. Well, hey, once again, thanks for joining here on the show. It's been a little while, but great to have you back on the show, sir. Fantastic. And then moving on to our next cool panelist here on the show. He's a regular. He's an awesome regular, by the way. And he is the awesome, humble Canadian boxing treasure himself. 8-time Canadian champion. In 1960, he won the bronze medal in the Commonwealth Games. And he was quarterfinals 1986 World Championships. Please welcome the one and the very only Steve Beaupre to the show. Welcome, Steve. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me here on the Knockout Show.
Yeah, man.
I've been doing okay. Just come back from out west, from ceremonies out there, and yeah, just looking forward to the show.
Excellent. Very good. So, whereabouts were you again? Whereabouts in northern Ontario?
I was in Little Black River First Nation, just close to Hollow Water First Nation, where my buddy lived. So, shout out to Charlie Black and Ed Neville up there in Hollow Water. So.
Gotcha. Very cool. Once again, man, always pleasure to have you here on the show. Good to have you back on the show again. Always great, sir. Always great. And then moving on to our final guest here on the show. He's a knockout boxing predictor and a very insightful analyst. He's joining us live in New York City. Please welcome the one and the only, the boxing prophet himself, Mr. Richard Solomon, to the show. Welcome, Richard, sir. How you doing, sir?
How you doing, guys? First, let me say a happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there on the Knockout TV show Nation.
Absolutely, right on.
And I had an unexpected visitor from my nephews today who wanted to use the swimming pool. So I had to run all the way there to make sure that, everything was copacetic. And then I ran all the way home. Think Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa in that famous beach scene in Rocky 3 when they were doing sprints. I sprinted all the way home from the pool so I could be on the Knockout TV show.
Look at you, right on. He's in training too, just like all of us. Right on. Very good, sir. Well, great to see you back on the show again. Very good, very good. Well, get right to it here, boys. Onto the professional world boxing news, shall we? So, round one, topic number one, the highly anticipated matchup. We know also mainstream boxing fans, or I guess more of our tighter knit boxing fans, and waiting for this match for a long time. That would be, of course, Errol Spence Jr. against Terrence Crawford, which is coming up now as a done deal for July 29th. That's Saturday, July 29th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. But first off, guys, I want to ask you quickly on this one here. Of course, in terms of the pay-per-view matchups, you guys this can obviously be the biggest fight of the year, most likely. But in terms of pay-per-view matchups or pay-per-view buys, you guys see it's also being the same level as matchup, the level of fight as being a top performer for pay-per-view. So this will be the biggest fight of the year. First off, to Richard Solomon, and will be a great pay-per-view buy as well. Moving over to Richard.
Yeah, at first I thought the fight would never happen. I was holding my breath even when they announced it. I said I want to see the press conferences. And of course, this past week they had two press conferences, one in Los Angeles, one in New York. Yep. So it's now official. And back in the 80s, social media wasn't really prevalent. So now you have all hardcore boxing fans, casual boxing fans saying that this is the most eagerly anticipated welterweight fight of all time. And it kind of made me chuckle in a little bit. I may be showing my age here. If you want to say Crawford Spence at this stage of their respective careers is a bigger fight than Pacquiao Cotto, I have no problem with that. De La Hoya Mosley or De La Hoya Trinidad, I'm fine with that. Even Sugar Ray Leonard, Wilfred Benitez. Yes, I might be looking forward to Crawford Spence more than that fight. But there are three fights that I don't think Crawford Spence can match the hype against. And that's the first Roberto Duran Sugar Ray Leonard fight in Montreal. I was I was a kid in a candy store. I think I was 12 years old watching Hands of Stone challenge Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah, I was more excited for that fight. I was more excited for the first Sugar Ray Leonard Thomas Hearns fight. Yeah. And also, maybe stylistically wise, it's almost guaranteed to be a better fight. Spence and Crawford will be a better fight than the fight I'm about to say. But for some unexplainable reason, I was also more excited to see Pernell Whitaker against Julio Cesar Chavez. So those three welterweight fights were more exciting to me. There was more, adrenaline flowing through my body to see those.
And they're quite iconic. They're quite iconic matchups.
Yeah, than Crawford Spence. And having said that, with the matchup, Spence has gone through a lot over the years. Let's not forget he was in a terrible car accident. Yeah, he also suffered a detached retina. Yeah. I'm not sure Spence is 100, but he has no tune-up fights. He didn't take a tune-up fight. He's going straight for Crawford. And I kind of think physically, I don't know what kind of shape he's going to be in. Crawford might have caught him at the right time. If you take a look at Spence's last couple of fights, he was in that all-out war against Sean Porter. It was a split decision. I had him winning, but he could have boxed more, but he wanted to make a point that I'm going to beat Porter at Sean's own game, and he took a lot of unnecessary punishment. Against Ugas, he was clearly hurt when Ugas knocked out his mouthpiece. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, Spence went flying into the ropes after the mouthpiece was knocked out. You could have called that a knockdown. He did dominate the fight after that, and he looked pretty good against Danny Garcia. He won 8 or 9 out of the 12 rounds, but he was just going through the motions. Yeah, I will say this, Spence's resume is a lot deeper than Crawford in terms of the opponents he faced.
Absolutely.
And, they both have an avid following. It reminds me of the Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia fight where both guys have, social media followers that their man can do no wrong. And they'll say, well, Terrence Crawford has won titles in 3 different weight classes, and he was the undisputed champion at junior welterweight. But let's look at the guys that Crawford beat to obtain those belts. He beat Ricky Burns to win the lightweight title, and Ricky Burns is most famous for ducking Adrian Broner.
Yeah.
When Adrian Broner was in that weight class, he wanted to unify against Burns, and Burns wanted no part of Adrian Broner.
Yeah.
Crawford then became the undisputed junior welterweight champion, and I give him credit. He won all 4 belts, legitimately so. But look at the names he beat. He knocked out Thomas Delorme, who's a capable fighter but won't make any pound-for-pound list. He beat Jeff Horn, whose claim to fame was getting a gift decision over Manny Pacquiao in one of the worst decisions in boxing history. And then his other 2 wins with a knockout victory over Julius Indongo, who's not exactly a household name, and Victor Postal, who's a solid fighter, but nothing great.
Yeah.
My point with this rant is that you can make a case that Terence Crawford has not yet fought a guy who was on anyone's pound-for-pound list.
Absolutely.
He also beat Amir Khan and Kell Brook when they were way past their prime, and they were shells of themselves. While Errol Spence is the one taking the calculated risks here. He fought Danny Garcia, arguably a pound-for-pound guy. Mikey Garcia, even though Mikey Garcia had to jump up 2 weight classes to face Errol, Mikey Garcia, when he fought him, was undefeated and considered a pound-for-pound guy. Your Dennis Ugas was coming off a very impressive victory over Manny Pacquiao when Spence fought him. So Errol Spence, and a lot of people will say, well, it's not Crawford's, fault because the PBC and Al Heyman owned all the great welterweights, while Bob Arum owned Crawford, and Arum didn't make a concerted effort to get Crawford all these elite opponents like Spence has been fighting. But I think at this stage, it's not rocket science. On paper, it looks like it'll be a war. I think it'll be a great fight. It's basically Errol Spence's volume punching, because he'll throw like 80 to 100 punches per round. And his strength and physical dominance against Terence Crawford's ring IQ. Terence Crawford has that Lomachenko ring IQ. But I also noticed another thing about Bud was that when he started off in the lower weight classes, he was a boxer puncher. He would box first, move around the ring, jab, and then go for the knockout if it presented himself. Maybe he wants to prove a point to Errol Spence and the rest of the welterweights, but ever since he moved up in weight, especially to 147, he's been knocking out opponents. He's been kind of abandoning the boxing style that made him such a treasure at lightweight and junior welterweight, and he's now, for all intents purposes, changed his style to become a puncher boxer, where it's punching power first and boxing second. So I think it'll be intriguing. I think it behooves Crawford to get off to a really, really fast start. Against Sean Porter, he lost the first couple of rounds, and that gave Sean Porter a lot of confidence. And I thought Sean Porter wasn't the same fighter against Crawford that he was against Errol Spence, because he was in so many wars. The war with Errol Spence. He was in a war with Ugas. Another tough fight with Sean Porter. So we'll see. I think I think if Crawford gets off to the slow start, because he likes to feel out his opponents, and then systematically wear them down and stop them. If Errol Spence takes a 3-0 lead or a 4-0 lead and gains confidence in this fight, Terence Crawford's going to have a long and arduous task ahead of him. But in terms of the matchups in the ring, I think it's going to be a great, great fight.
Absolutely,
I can't miss an exciting war.
Absolutely. Well, moving on, it was a great point. Remember, sharing is caring, sir. Sharing is caring on the show. Anyway, moving on here. So moving on to a question for all of everybody here on the show. In terms of predictions, your thoughts, your insights, kind of building on what Richard put on about Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, over to Mr. Vicious Volny. What's your thoughts? What's your predictions? More analytical perspective on in terms of this matchup.
Yeah, I know Crawford didn't have the same opening that Spencer has, but I still go with Crawford in this fight. I think his IQ, it's a big plus for him in this fight, and the fact that he switched a lot.
Yes.
We did see Spence got rocked a few times in his career. Um, Crawford do take the risk. He did get hurt too a few times, but like you said, like the pass of Spence, he been injured, the car accident, everything. So I don't think it will be 100%. I do believe he will do what he does best: go forward, punch a lot, body punch a lot. But I don't think the high Q of I think the high Q of Crawford will dominate that game. The same as I can tell when Spence fought Kell Brook. Spence had a hard time the first couple rounds, but I do think the injury of his highs reset the fight, so he gave him the advantage. But I know Crawford is a big high Q guy, good power, long arm, and definitely able to switch the fight, southpaw, fight inside, fight outside, brawl if he has to, or do everything in his book to make Spence get uncomfortable. So I think the fight's going to be a win for Crawford. I want to say a knockout because I don't think one of them will accept a defeat, so they're willing to take all the risks. So I predict a knockout
Really?
in the 9 to the 12 round.
Interesting. Okay, so knockout for Terrence Crawford against Harry Spence, 9 to 10th round. Very good. I like that prediction. Very good, sir. Right on, right on. And actually, building your point too about the reach factors. Here, Crawford does have a 74-inch reach.
A long reach, yeah.
Spence a 72-inch. Kind of building on your point there too. It's also a great point as well. Over to the humble boxing Canadian treasure himself. What's your thoughts? Prediction?
I think Spence is going to outbox him. I think he's going to steal it. It's going to be a close decision, split decision, and he's going to outbox him.
Gotcha,
he's going to start fast, but he's going to control the fight. But it's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a close fight.
Yeah, I think it'll be a close fight myself.
And I think, like Richard said, Crawford hasn't fought anybody.
That's right.
Crawford has never fought anybody.
Yeah, correct.
This is the first time he's fighting somebody that's going to be able to, give him a good fight. So I think we'll see if he's going to if his. This is where you see the championship. If he,
that's right.
And I could see easily Crawford winning too, right? But
absolutely,
that there's where he's got to show that, and you gotta convince me he's a good fighter.
Yeah,
there was always an angle. There was always an angle to keep the titles. Always an angle to stay up at the top. So I don't know. That's what I think. But you never know.
Oh, very true.
The Garcia.
Would you rather struggle? Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. You're saying.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was letting my boy Beaupre finish his thought. I didn't want to interrupt him. But it's the old age theory. Would you rather dominate a fight against subpar opposition, or would you rather struggle but beat top opposition? And that's what Crawford and Spence have been doing. Spence, even when he won his first world title, he traveled over to England. He beat Kell Brook. People forget that was a life and death fight. Kell Brook was having enormous success before Spence rallied and won that belt. Mm-hmm. But, I'm thinking Crawford caught him at the wrong time with all the injuries. I think Spence will be ahead. He'll have enormous success early. Yeah. And I think it'll be shades of the first Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas the Hitman Hearns fight. The first one where, Terrence Crawford is Sugar Ray Leonard and Errol Spence is Thomas Hearns. I think Crawford will eventually wear down Spence, go to the body. Spence will be exhausted because he's been inactive. And physically, I don't think his body can handle the punishment anymore. And I sort of like Terrence Crawford by a come-from-behind 11th round TKO. Keep in mind, this is my early pick. The fight itself is not till July 29th, and all of our picks are subject to change here on the Knockout TV show.
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. That's right. It's part of the game, eh? But I tend to look at this being more like a game of fast chess. I think these two will be both a very high-level IQ fighters. With Spence with the accident he had, losing his front teeth, all those things, and the retina thing, those are huge factors. but I've seen this guy kind of rise above in tough situations before. So I would never leave him out of that equation either. I think he's another dangerous factor, which makes for a better fight, an exciting fight, absolutely. But it's definitely fast chess.
Boxing needs this fight. Boxing needs this fight, right? Boxing needs this fight right now.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Right on. Yeah. Yes,
it
does. We need more of matches like this. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So, Steve? What's your prediction again for this matchup here? What's your prediction?
I have split decision for Spence.
Split for Spence. Interesting call. Interesting. I'm going with actually
back and forth. It's going to be
back and forth. Yeah, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me went back and forth a little bit myself. Yeah, I tend to agree with that too. But I'm kind of leaning towards Spence. I'm a longtime Spence fan. I'm hoping. But Crawford, we have to pull it out. There's no doubt about that for sure. No doubt about it. All right. So so that's our term. So we're going with a record prediction. So we have Rich calling for 11th round knockout. Is that correct?
Yes.
Rich Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Patrice going with a 10th round knockout for Terrence Crawford. Correct?
Yep, correct.
He's going to be split decision for Spence, split for Steve and for Spence, and I'm calling for Spence in a close one at the end, going the distance. Anyway, that's my prediction. All right, here we go. So moving on, guys, and also one more point as well. So if you actually see this matchup where say dust is settled now, between these two. Who would you think would be the next guy in line to take on either Spence or Crawford after this fight has been settled and dust has been settled? Who would be the next natural opponent? Over to Richard first in New York City.
I mean, in a perfect world, the winner here would probably fight either a Virgil Ortiz Jr. or a Boots Ennis to help solidify their greatness as a welterweight. I think Terrence Crawford needs it more than Errol Spence. Errol Spence already fought, elite welterweights before. So it depends. If you're Terrence Crawford, I don't know that Terrence Crawford wants to try to win a title at a 4th different weight class. So I see things in 2 different ways. I mean, assuming there's no rematch, I believe that there is a rematch clause in the contract. So if the first fight is close, then there'll be a Crawford Spence too, more likely than not. But assuming Crawford wins, I think he should stay in the welterweight division and try and fight either Virgil Ortiz Jr., Boots Ennis, or maybe both to solidify his greatness at 147. Whereas if Spence won, I think Spence doesn't necessarily need to face Boots Ennis or Ortiz. I think he's done enough at welterweight to solidify his greatness in that division. I think he should move up to 154 and challenge Charlo for the undisputed titles at 154. The only problem is they're both from Texas and they're really good friends. So I don't know if they'll fight each other. But at the end of the day, we know in boxing it's all about the Benjamins and money talks. So if they throw enough money both ways, I think that fight could be made. But to sum up, Crawford needs to stay in the division, fight the young gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Spence should move up and challenge.
Very good. Mr. Patrice Volny, what do you think if this fight that settles who would be the next natural matchup for either one? Crawford.
Yeah, I hope if after the fight, I hope whoever wins, I hope there's a rematch, depending how the fight goes. If it's a tight fight, and somebody get knocked out, they definitely have to do that fight again. But I will give after this the chance to Virgil Ortiz. I think he deserved it a lot. I think he's been in the game for a while, and they probably just didn't give him the chance that he need.
Yeah.
Boot Hennis is already there. But he will definitely need those guys. He need those guys, those opposition. But I think I go for Virgil first, and after this, Boot Ennis. I think that'd be a perfect matchup and a great fight for the division.
Yeah, I think so too. I totally agree. Be a great series of fights right there. Absolutely. How about you, Steve? What's your thoughts? Who should be facing?
I would think whoever loses this fight is to fight Cody Crowley. the Canadian.
Cody Crowley, very old Canadian. Yeah, right on. Right on.
The loser. Now the winner again, what Richard and Patrice is saying is good. Yeah, fight either one of those fighters. So Ortiz or Ennis would be my choice.
Or Cody Crowley, yeah, right on.
But
Very good.
The loser fight Cody Crowley.
Yeah.
Cody, he's got to fight somebody like he's kind of like that same. He's in that same boat. He hasn't fought anybody, like right. There was always an angle.
That's right.
So and he's got a good record, but come on, you gotta start fighting those top guys. Like before,
I hear you. That's part of the ball game. Yeah.
Guys are fighting each other. Hearns, Hagler, Leonard, Duran. They all fought each other, right?
That's right. They never backed down. They never backed down, did they? No, never. That's right. Different era. Different era in boxing. That's all it is. That's all I can say. But anyway, moving on. Well, that's very good, guys. Right on. So moving on, we'll move on to round number 2, topic number 2 here, folks. So NUI be facing off against Stephen Fulton. That's set off for Tuesday, July 25th, just days apart from Errol Spence and, of course, Terrence Crawford's matchup as well. All right, boys. So in terms of this matchup, of course, NUI is the favorite overall. But what would be your predictions, your insights, your thoughts? I want to kind of expand a bit further over to Richard first in New York City.
First, I can't believe in a 4 or a 5 day span, we're not getting one but 2 super fights. And make no mistake about it, NUI Fulton is a super fight.
Yes,
and
it is.
If you're more looking forward to NUI Fulton and Crawford Spence, I'm not going to hold it against you. This is how excited I may have to fly to Canada and hang out with all you guys for a week so we can watch both of these fights.
Oh, no.
In the history of boxing, when has there been 2 super fights in a 4 day span? It's ridiculous.
It's unheard of. Really, it's true.
But anyway, NUI is trying to make history. He's going for his a title at his 4th different weight class.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that he's this huge of a favorite. It's like that what Stephen Fulton has done. NUI, to his credit, has beaten the best at all 3 of his current divisions: light flyweight, junior bantamweight, and bantamweight. I'm sorry, his past divisions. He destroyed Jamie McDonald, Juan Carlos Payano, Emmanuel Rodriguez, Jason Maloney, beat Nonito Donaire, the first ballot Hall of Famer, twice, and destroyed Paul Butler to become the undisputed super bantamweight champion. As far as Fulton, this is the reason why he's boxed beautifully and dominated former champion Daniel Roman, winning 11 of the 12 rounds. But before that, he was in a fight of the year candidate in 2 fights against Angelo Leo to win one version of the super bantamweight championship, and then he unified against Brandon Figueroa. He beat Brandon Figueroa by majority decision and Angelo Leo by unanimous decision. And you could make a strong case that Leo and Figueroa both deserve to win those fights. They were both 7-5 fights that could have gone either way. And I think the bookmakers are looking at that. Well, if Fulton struggled against Angelo Leo and Brandon Figueroa, a fighter of NUI's ilk is going to run over him.
Yeah.
And you don't really know what game plan, the fight's in Japan. So obviously, if it goes the distance, NUI is going to get the benefit of the doubt. And the big question I have is what style will Fulton choose to employ? Will it be boxing, the beautiful boxing he displayed against Roman, or will it be the all-out brawling he did Leo? If he brawls with NUI, I think he could be in trouble. Even though this is NUI's 4th different weight class, you don't know if he'll carry, that power up to this 4th weight class.
Well,
and although it's a different era and it's a different fight altogether, NUI Fulton eerily reminds me of when the great Alexis Arguello tried to win a title at a 4th different weight class and took on Aaron Pryor. at junior welterweight,
Yeah.
and Aaron Price and stopped Arguello in probably what I think was the best fight of the decade in the 80s, the first fight.
Yeah, so
you know, I still think Inoue will win because as dedicated a boxer as I think Fulton is, I think he's going to have to try and hurt Inoue to keep him off of him and to gain his respect. And they call Inoue a monster for a reason. And I think just like Crawford Spence, you know, I think Fulton will have a strong beginning with his boxing skills. He might win 4 of the first 6 rounds with his jab and his lateral movement. But ultimately, Inoue will wear him down. He'll go to the body, and he'll probably stop him in the mid to late rounds. If either he'll stop Fulton in the 10th or the 11th alley and win the last half of the fight to eke out a close unanimous decision, maybe 8 rounds to 4 or 7 rounds to 5. But make no mistake about it, Stephen Fulton is an absolute live dog in this fight.
Oh, absolutely, no debate. But I do have to say the hand speed too of Inoue is pretty outstanding. Over to Mr. Vicious Volny. What's your takes, your predictions, and your analysts on that matchup?
Big fight. Big fight. I love Fulton. I'm a fan of Fulton, but Inoue, they call him the monster. fast hand, powerful. We see what he do to his opponent. Fulton is like Richard said, I don't think Fulton should box in a way. I think he will be outspeed on that fight. I don't think he'd be able to like control it. Maybe the first round, second round, and after this, I think Inoue just gonna destroy all the rest of the fight. So I do believe that fight is gonna finish. I might sound like I say knockout all the time, but I think it's gonna be a knockout on this one. And I don't think Fulton's gonna win. I think Inoue is gonna do what he do best and late round destroy people. So use his speed at the beginning, destroy with the beginning, and the power will end up the job.
Yeah, well put. That's why you're on the show, man. Great insight. Yeah, right on. I love it. Steve, Mr. Beaupre, what's your thoughts?
I think Inoue is going to just dominate this fight. I mean, it's going to be a good fight. He's going to take it to probably stop him, stop Fulton in the 9th round. But it's going to be a really, really good fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too.
And and Fulton, I think Fulton still has a chance too, right? You don't he could have an upset here too.
Yeah,
right?
Well, that's the boxer's mentality, right?
You never know. It only takes 1 or 2 punches and boom.
Yeah.
But Inoue has to stay to his game plan, box smart, and use his speed, and he'll get the job done. But if he makes a mistake, Fulton's going to capitalize, right?
Absolutely. No,
I can see it happening. It's easily switching really quick.
That too.
But it's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah, I mean, truly, Inoue is such a special athlete. It really is. I mean, just has so many great tools that he can draw upon in any fight at any moment. It's so true. It's the speed, his power, his precision. He's a pretty sharp fighter, man. Great body punch as well. So there's so many tools that you can utilize in a fight, and super fast. I mean, his hand speed really is pretty beautiful.
Yeah, if he uses that body attack, he slows him down, right?
Yeah,
that could be too, right? The game plan. What's the game plan, right? You're going in, and if you see him going to the body, slowing him down,
wear him down. Yeah, round by round. Exactly. Well put, sir. Yeah, and I think we all agree it's going to be probably a stoppage, right? I think we're all going to agree on that. Inoue by stoppage. I think so. Yeah. Yay, nay. I think so too. I think we're more going to make a late round.
Ninth round.
For me, very good. We had Rich over at 10. 10th round knockout, you said?
Yeah, I'm thinking either 10 or 11. It could go to distance also. But and I think it'll be a close competitive fight. And, you have to applaud Fulton for going to Japan and taking this fight.
100%.
And there were also, there were rumors that Fulton was going to move up, before Inoue, challenged. Fulton doesn't have to drain himself to make weight, because we all saw what, when Devin Haney fought Lomachenko, he was clearly weight drained. So if Fulton is weight drained at all,
he's in trouble.
He's just going to get run over. Yeah. So hopefully he'll, train seriously and he won't be weight drained.
Exactly. Yeah, weight cutting, as we all know, and us pushers athletes out there, after a long while, it just wears tears on your body and also on your brain. It's just quite true. So, yeah, very true. Can't do that too much too often, right? Can't go to the well too often, guys, right? Very true. So, yeah, wonderful folks, watch out for that Tuesday, July 25th, NUI, Stephen Fulton. That's going to take place in Japan. And we're all picking here, choosing a late round knockout for NUI. That's our predictions here on the show. All right, moving on. Before we run out of time here on the show, is topic number 3, round number 3. Canelo, Bivol. Yeah, it's kind of still in the news a little bit. Yes, it is. So Eddie Hearn, promoter Eddie Hearn, will make some comments about this past week, mentioning about they're still negotiating with Bivol. It's not looking too well right now as we speak, but it's still negotiating. However, the team Canelo is saying we don't want to really necessarily do it. It's not really the best matchup for us, especially not right now. Looking at right now, actually, another opponent, Edgar Berlanga would be actually the Plan B opponent for Canelo at this stage, at this point in time, for Eddie Hearn's Plan B, as he can say. But moving on here, guys, in terms of my question to you is with Canelo's team makes the same comment about Bivol not being the guy to go with right now. Would you guys go with Bivol right now if you could? Excuse me, if you guys could, or you guys seem to go right to Edgar Berlanga would be the better matchup in my opinion too. Go for an easier matchup right now in Canelo's case. Don't do Bivol. What's your takes? Over to Richard in New York. Bivol or Edgar?
Yeah, in a perfect world, it would be Bivol, and I have to say this: I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
I think his legacy speaks for itself. But from a public relations standpoint, he's been taking a beating. His offer to Bivol in terms of money, the financial aspect was insulting, considering that Bivol embarrassed him in the first fight. Then they're fighting over weight classes. Bivol's like, I already dominated you at light heavyweight. I want to come down, and I'll only fight you if you put all middleweight titles on the line.
Right.
And Canelo 58 and I beat you, everyone will say I weight trained you.
Yeah, true.
The only way this fight can happen is at 175.
Yeah, it was insulting.
The room is that if he doesn't face Bivol, I don't see him fighting Berlanga, because I think Berlanga is fighting on June 24th against Jason Quigley. I think what I've been hearing on social media now is that he may face Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo may move up to one.
That'd be an interesting matchup. That would be.
And face Canelo, which has kind of been inactive. He really doesn't have any signature resume like his brother, who dominates the junior. His last fight was in June of 2021. So, I think Canelo runs over Charlo at this stage. And then there were other talks about how he may face Badu Jack to try and win a title in a 4th different weight class. But Badu Jack is the cruiserweight champion of the world. And of course, Canelo was demanding him to lose like 15 to 20 pounds to face him. So I'm thinking to myself, what is Canelo doing with trying to fight an inactive Charlo, trying to weight train Badu Jack? And I understand, Canelo has looked for, let's keep it real. Canelo has looked listless in his 2 fights against Triple G and John Ryder. So maybe he just wants to take one more payday and go off into the sunset. But if I'm playing matchmaker real quick, and I'm sure the rest of the panel will agree with me, I think that David Benavidez should fight David Morrell. I think Charlo should fight Demetrius Andrade, because they've been chopping it up on Instagram saying they
they sure have to go back and forth.
Want to fight each other. So let Charlo let David Morrell fight David Benavidez, and the winner of either 2 of those fights should face Canelo, because the public demand will be there.
Yeah.
That's what I would say in a perfect world.
Yeah, right on. That's very good. And over to Patrice. What are your thoughts? Canelo taking on Edgar Blanche, but was mentioned earlier. Rather going with Bivol. What's your take?
I don't think the Langates of. I don't think it's a fight. I don't even see him in the equation. I think it just probably is going to be a back in the ring fight. I don't think Belargait's at this level.
Yeah.
I think he is a good boxer. He was a strong boxer, a big puncher. But we did see a lot of something in his past fight that I don't agree on all the decision that they give him. I think they give him a lot of chance in this fight.
Yes.
So I think Bivol might be like that's a bad fight for Canelo. And if I was Bivol too, I'd say you put all your belt on the line and move down to your division. If you lose, you lose it all. In this awkward, classic, beautiful side, control the distance amazingly. And I think that's the big problem for Canelo. He cannot maintain Bivol on the place, and Bivol don't really care about getting punched. So I think Beaupre Andrade was the big guy. I think Andrade is a guy that Canelo should fight now.
Yeah, I think so.
Charlo is not. Charlo is inactive for 2 years, 2 years or more. I don't know. He's been inactive for a long period of time. So that's just a good fight, but not the best Charlo you can have. So I think Beaupre Andrade might be like the closest one that we can have now, but definitely not Bivol. Bivol will easily win that fight, I think. So better than the first time, and probably hurt Canelo on this fight.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I'm glad with Canelo's team, his team behind him saying, hey, it's not a good idea. Let's not go after Bivol again. I totally
agree. They should, I just think they should not offer crazy matchup or this crazy negotiation, and don't ask Bivol to drop. Don't ask Badou Jack to drop that much weight.
Yes.
That make no sense. He took the chance to move up to every division, so for sure people will ask him to move back to those divisions so you can fight. Canelo is the big name now. You went to light heavyweight, you went to all this division, they will call you out. And that's something that you cannot change. It's already done.
Right on. Actually, I'll talk about it a little bit later on the show. That very point, because your point is so bang on that people don't really appreciate. But that's a fantastic point you raised there. But we'll get that one shortly. Over to Steve.
What's your thought? I don't think Canelo should fight Bivol again. It's just it's
high risk with no reward.
It's just you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose that. He's the only way he's going to win that is if he gets a lucky punch, and he's got too much.
That's right.
He's got too much. He won't get caught, right?
And plus,
that caliber of a fighter is not going to get caught.
That's right.
I just don't think. But he's got to take another fight, different fight.
Agreed. So you're definitely saying Edgar Belanga for sure.
Yeah.
Take
that fight, right?
What's that, sorry?
Take that fight. Like, I would say that, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think going with the easier matchup right now for Canelo's in his camp would be the best idea right now, I think. But who am I?
I think
so.
I think the only way they could pull this off is if Berlanga is fighting Jason Quigley on June 24th. If he destroys him in one-sided fashion, there is the whole Puerto Rico-Mexico feud. So Canelo can say, Berlanga is Puerto Rican, I'm from Mexico. Yeah, but Berlanga is just not ready for as bad as Canelo has looked his last two fights. And Berlanga is a power puncher. He's a one-dimensional power puncher, no defense. It kind of reminds me of John Mugabe back in the day. John the Beast Mugabe, the one-dimensional. Yeah, Canelo stops Berlanga inside his 7 rounds.
Yeah.
I think it would almost be insulting if Canelo takes that fight.
The distance.
And I think, he really needs to. I think, and I said it before, I came on the show when everyone was hyping Tank Ryan Garcia fight.
Yeah.
And I said, Prince a fight with Tank. He really hasn't beaten anybody. And the same thing goes for Berlanga.
Yeah.
What? Benavidez looked good. Caleb Plant he hasn't really fought anybody either. So what I'm saying is, in order to get involved in those sweepstakes, you have to have a pretty. David Morrell holds a fringe belt in the super middleweight division. Let David Morrell fight David Benavidez. Let Jamal Charlo fight Demetrius Andrade, and then the winner of those two can claim a fight against Canelo.
Yeah, right. That'd be the sweepstakes for sure. Yeah, that's a big payday.
We've earned it, and I think the fans will demand.
Yeah, no, right on. That's a better call there for sure. Well, that's what, before we get on timer, guys, one more question, of course, on the Canelo factor, which was raised by Patrice, was the fact about the weight cutting. All these years of weight cutting, the damp's now done. And from my perspective, watching Canelo's last two fights, especially the last two fights, I thought that's, in my opinion, that's the result of all that weight cutting of all those years, the wear and tear in the body, and so on and so forth, which is it's quite legitimate. Guys, do you agree with that? Over to Richard first. I think this weight cutting after all these years now impacted Canelo's performance overall. Richard first.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Oh, so in terms of those weight cutting by Canelo over the years, would you agree?
Yeah, it's definitely leapfrogging, over 3-4 different weight classes. And I think he's been in a lot of wars, and I think he's he's an older fighter now. He was in wars with 3 wars with Triple G. He's been in a lot of fights, and I think and I see from his interviews, I just think the hunger isn't there anymore.
Yeah,
he's got outside business deals, and I think he wants to dabble in other things besides boxing, and I just think the desire is not there, and he's looking for a fight with the lowest, with the most amount of money for the lowest risk. Berlanga, Badu Jack. I mean, listen, if you're going to have a farewell tour, I guess I'm all for it, but I'd like to see him face, Bivol if he really wants to. I mean, he's already cemented his legacy regardless of first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes.
But if he really wants to go out with a bang, even if he loses again, even if he loses to Bivol, I want to see the Canelo Alvarez that dared to be great.
Yeah,
either fight Bivol, or fight Badu Jack at cruiserweight, but don't make him lose 20 pounds.
Yeah, right on.
Let Canelo dare to be great
No, I agree with that.
More time before he fades off into.
Right on. Well said. And Patrice, what's your thoughts?
I do think I think Canelo might lose that fire a little bit, or starting to lose that fire, looking for that probably big paycheck.
Yeah.
Safer big fight that he can have, so he can quit boxing with that big name that he already has, no matter what happened next.
That's right.
So, but I do think like cutting weight that much and moving up, moving down, moving up, moving down, put a lot of damage to your body. He started boxing really young.
So true.
Started big fight pretty early. So you cannot maintain that tempo if you start boxing really young. If you get mid-age, you get old for the fight. I don't care how old you are. If you start boxing young, you get older in the fight, in the fighting life early. So I do think he might starting to lose his fire. The fight with Ryder was a hard one. Was really a hard one. Big dude. I don't think he need to go up to this division no more, to those division no more.
Agreed.
But like I said, he been there, so that's for sure. They will try to fight him, and they will not accept no more. Nobody will accept to move down like they used to before to fight Canelo. That was a mistake of them to move down, but now nobody want to move down. You have those big monsters on the division. Now they all going on this direction. So the safest thing is to quit before they reach out to him.
Right on. Right on. Well said as always, sir. Right on. Before we run out of time, Steve, what's your take on that?
The weight cutting is hard on your body because I did it, and it just you that's hard on your body.
Totally hard.
I did it. I shouldn't have been doing it, and it just was crazy.
Agreed.
So, my last fight, I won 12 I just barely made the weight, and they knew we're trying to make the weight and having trouble. And he moved it just a touch over 100 grams, and I made it. So, but I fought Mike Strange, and I lost. I lost the fight before even getting in the ring because I was done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So that, and then later I fought my natural weight, 119. I was walking around 117, 116. Didn't have to lose no weight. It's perfect.
Yeah, right on, boy. Right on. Well said. Well, hey, kids. Part of the show here is we're try to help educate you guys out there too. Kids, don't do crazy weight cutting stuff. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not good for you.
These guys are going 12 rounds, a lot longer than we were, just 3 rounds, right? So
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
12, you got to have that stamina too, right?
Yeah.
For the 12 rounds.
The physical stamina, also the mental stamina, get through all those tougher rounds. And the middle in between is like, oh my God, how I get through this? It's just so true. So true. Well, hey, boys, it's always a pleasure. Thanks again. Great seeing Patrice. Vicious Volny out of Montreal, Quebec. We love you, man. We love you. You're always welcome back on the show. And, of course, the humble Canadian boxing treasure himself over there in the far corner, Mr. Steve Beaupre. Thank you as always, sir. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure right here. And Mr. Richard Solomon, the boxing prophet in New York. Thank you as well, sir. Always awesome. Great insight as always. Great insight as always. And thanks, guys. And thank you, folks, for watching the Knockout TV show. And remember, check out Zingo TV for all the news. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Hey, man, love it. Guys, we'll see you real soon. Take care. All the best, eh? Thank you.